everybody that is live here for episode number 63 of HSP TV, and also welcome everybody that catches this in the replay later when we are finished. I hope you've had a really great day, or that your day is starting really great if you're in a different time zone than I am. And as I said, today is episode number 63 of HSP TV, and it's all about the 6 mental tools that will change your life forever. I've been studying with Bob Proctor, and one of the things that he talked about was that we needed to start using our mental tools effectively to start changing our life for the better. And I was intrigued. He said that all over the world, and as far back as you can go, you will find that people are programmed to live from the outside in, from the moment that they were born. And all of the great leaders in history, all of the people who are recognized for their greatness, without exception, have told us that if we want to be in control of the results that we get in life, we have to start living from the inside out. So, what do they mean by that, you might wonder? That is what today's episode is going to be all about. I want to talk to you about the mental faculties that we all possess and how these higher faculties have been designed to make us the highest form of creation on the planet so far as we know. And even though society places great emphasis on our 5 senses, our ability to see, to hear, to smell, to taste, and to touch, as the ways that we perceive our world, we are most powerful when we use and develop the 6 mental faculties that we all possess. And these are our imagination, our intuition, our will, our perception, our memory, and our reason. And each of these higher faculties of the subconscious mind are kind of superpowers that we can use to create a life that we love. And these qualities are sometimes also referred to as our intellectual qualities. Napoleon Hill said, "An educated person is a person who has so developed the faculties of their mind that they can acquire anything they want or its equivalent without violating the rights of others." Only on rare occasions will you find anyone who has been raised to use those intellectual qualities to create the life that they truly want. And when you do find such a person, you will also likely find that they are unconsciously using their qualities. In most cases, they are not even consciously aware that this is what has separated them from the masses. Most of us will assume that they have been blessed with some kind of talent that the rest of us just don't have, because they, as well as the people viewing their performance, lack the awareness of exactly what it is that this person is doing that is so obviously different. In truth, we all have these higher faculties. We all have these mental qualities. And when we begin to use them, we too will be looked upon as extraordinary people, when in truth, the only thing that separates them from us and that makes us different from others are our results. So take a moment and mentally review what has gone on and what is continuing to go on in the world, in your world. Because as little children, we often hear things like, "Will you look at this? Listen to what I'm telling you. Do you hear what I am saying? Why can't you be more like your brother? Or why can't you be more like your sister? I wish you were more like," and then they point at some other child. And on it goes. And the conditions or circumstances, they begin to control us. When society speaks of education, you think in grades and degrees, and neither of those are accurate measures of someone's potential. You are a being of unlimited possibilities, created in the image of God, not just your body, but also your mind. And a report card, it will only tell us what kind of student you are. because it's a snapshot of you, how you were feeling and what your mental state was only at that exact moment of your exam or your test. It doesn't tell us anything about the person that you truly are. I propose that we look at education in a different way, that we understand that teaching our children information, only information, is not the answer to a happy, well-adjusted life, but rather teaching our children awareness to understand the superpowers that they possess between their ears. That is what I believe is the first step on the way to freedom, to happiness. But this trend with the report card, it also flows over into our adult lives. And then the report card turns into a balance sheet or a sales sheet or possibly a performance review. Always a record of something that has gone on in the past. And that's how most people's lives are controlled. In many cases, from the moment that they are born until the moment that they die. And the purpose of this episode is to cause you to be more consciously aware of all of your intellectual qualities and when and how to use them in a more effective way so that you'll have better results in your life. Because thinking is your highest faculty. And if you listen to most people or study their behavior, it's going to be obvious that most of them are not thinking. Otherwise, they would not say what they are saying or they would not do what they are doing. So mental activity does not constitute thinking. Your intellectual qualities are the thing that separates you from the rest of the animal kingdom. And it's these qualities that will permit you to enjoy the results that you want. So clearly understand that the only limitations you will ever have are the limitations that you impose upon yourself. You truly do have infinite potential. There is no end to what you are capable of doing. Just observe the world around you and the advances that have been made within the past few years, for example. All of these advances are the result of a small select group of people using their mental faculties, their intellectual qualities to create a better world for all of us to enjoy. Know what they have done, you can do too. You are working with the same power that they are working with. You're working with the exact same qualities that they are working with. The only possible difference would be the limitations that you impose upon yourself or that have been imposed upon you. And to fix that, you need to release and remove those limitations and allow your greatness to come out. The fact that you can reason gives you the ability to reject anything that comes in from the outside. And nowhere has it ever been written that your circumstances control you nor your actions. You have infinite potential. And to quote Dr. G.B. Rhine, the mind is the greatest power in all of creation. Okay, Barbara, you might be thinking that sounds great and all, but how can I use those qualities to create a better life for myself? I'm glad you asked. We are all programmed from our birth to live from the outside in. That means that we let outside influences dictate how we feel on the inside. And it's because of that programming that we tend to become a plaything for forces that originate from outside of ourselves. So instead of becoming a plaything, we should observe and be aware of everything that's going on around us in our outside world, but be capable of creating and maintaining a peaceful inner world, an inner calm, so to say. We have been gifted with these higher mental faculties like perception, will, imagination, memory, reason, and intuition. And it's our responsibility to learn how to utilize and develop these higher faculties to a greater degree. So let's look at each of these intellectual qualities and see how you can start using them for your highest good. And while I am sharing this information about these qualities, I would like you to start thinking about questions that might come up when I'm talking about this, because now is your time, your chance to ask me all your questions. So as I go through these 6 mental faculties, think of anything you might want to know and already share that with me in the comment section. That will be amazing. This also can be done if you're catching this in the replay. So the first mental quality, the first faculty that I want to share with you is perception. One of my favorite quotes by Dr. Wayne Dwyer is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's true. Your perception is the source of your point of view, your perspective. And by exercising our ability to change our perception, we can shed limiting beliefs that block us or hold us back. And this means that when we see something that causes us to think something cannot be done, we can change our perception of the situation and originate an idea on how it can be done. Okay, Barbara, awesome. But can you explain that with an example, please? Yes. I recently promised to go shopping with my best friend. She needed a new dress for an upcoming wedding. And I told her, don't worry, we're going to find the perfect dress. But she had herself convinced that it was just impossible. There was not enough time. She would not find a dress she would like, or if she would find one, it was not in her size. And maybe the store that she wanted to go to was not open with the whole COVID thing. And on it went. And knowing the power of perception, I told her that if in fact our trip to the store would already be unsuccessful in her mind, even well before we went, that I was not willing to waste my time on it. If she was so incredibly sure that we would never ever find a dress, no matter what we did, then why should I waste my time hunting for one with her? And that caught her attention. She decided to change her perception and to open her mind up to the possibility of possibly maybe just finding the perfect dress, the one that she was looking for. And you know what? She did. And in record time, I think she found it in the first store we went into. And the dress was just absolutely gorgeous. It was breathtaking. And it was already there, whether she believed it or not. But she had to first believe it in order to get it, to find it. We have to choose to see something in order to actually see it. So use your perception. The second faculty, the second quality I want to explain to you is reason. Mental activity does not constitute thinking. It's what I shared with you earlier. Reason is what gives us the ability to really think, to be consciously aware of the thoughts and the ideas that come to our mind, and to choose to reject or accept them into our reality. And this is undoubtedly one of the most precious gifts given to us. The ability to be able to choose what images we want to hold in our mind, because those create our results. Thinking is our highest function. It is our primary reason, our primary reasoning that gives us the ability to develop individual thoughts and to bring them together in the formation of ideas. We can observe what we are doing and then think of ideas on how we can do better. Since we are in control of our own thinking, we should not spend time thinking negative thoughts or spend time thinking of why something cannot be done. Neuroscience has shown that the conscious mind only uses about 5% of the entire brain. And I always tell my clients that our mind is one of the best tools we have to access infinite wisdom. And when we do use it, we set ourselves up for success. And if used poorly, our mind can send us down a spiral of failure and truly sabotage every effort we make to pursue the life and the lifestyle we desire. So be aware of that and use your reasoning to consciously choose your thoughts. The third mental faculty I want to talk to you about is will. The mental faculty, will, gives us the ability to focus only on one idea and just exclude everything else. Will is what allows us to not get distracted by everything that's going on around us. And this is an ability required to succeed at anything. And it can be illustrated by any success story that you can think of. Because in order to create success, you must first filter out your negative thoughts, distractions, and people who may interfere with your success. And this mental strength can be developed through practice because what we focus on expands. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? That's what they say. Or is it when? The will gives you the ability to focus and to concentrate. And the more you practice developing your will, the stronger it will become. I remember when I quit my job to start my own business and everybody thought I'd lost my mind. I had many moments in which I had absolutely no idea where the money was supposed to come from to pay my mortgage. And it was already the 31st of the month. There were times of obstacles and uncertainty, struggle and doubt. But I focused on what could be, on the vision that I was pursuing. And many years later, I don't regret a single thing. The only regret I might have is that I didn't become an entrepreneur sooner. I don't regret a thing, even if some people don't understand or approve of my path. I never, ever have regretted becoming an entrepreneur. This wasn't a decision. It was a series of decisions made daily or sometimes even several times a day to hold the promise and to embrace the permission I had received to pursue a vision that was given to me. Do you know what I mean? I had an exercise shared with me in how you can strengthen your will. And it's actually quite simple, and I would like to share it with you guys right now. It's you need a candle, a lighter to light the candle, or a match, or whatever, something with fire, obviously. And that's it. You put the candle in front of you and you just stare at the flame. That's all you need to do. Just stare at the flame. And you keep on staring at the flame, either until it's burned down. So I would not use a very big candle, otherwise you would be there for several days. Or until the time that you've allocated for this exercise is gone, but the entire time, no snooping. Just light that candle, look at the flame, and you need your will to strengthen you to reach the end of the period that you set for yourself, the period for staring at the flame. This is a great exercise in strengthening both your focus, but also your will. The fourth faculty that I want to share with you is memory. I remember becoming friends with someone who was taking pills for his memory. And I explained to him that one's memory is a muscle that you can exercise. So I was apparently convincing, and he decided to ditch the pills. And the funny thing was, it got better while not taking the pills. He started to exercise his mind, and his memory became better. And I'm in no way a medical doctor, and I also don't hate pills, even though I don't take any. But the truth is that most of us can take advantage of our brain's plasticity to improve our capacity to memorize and store information and to remember it when we need it. Most of us are not qualified to diagnose ourselves with having a bad memory. Alice in Wonderland, one of my favorite films ever. The Red Queen says to Alice, "Tell me what you did tomorrow." And Alice says, well, that's impossible. Nobody can tell you what they did tomorrow. Tomorrow hasn't happened yet. And the Queen says to Alice with pity, well, it's a pretty poor memory that only works in one direction. It's one of my favorite scenes. Our memory is perfect. There is no such thing as a bad memory. There are only weak memories and strong memories. And all of our higher faculties are perfect. They merely require exercise to strengthen them. I actually write myself letters from the future, telling myself what I did tomorrow. I can attest that something I commit to my memory has come true. And also that holding on to tragic memories has held me back from succeeding many times. I have written out, I think, a 2-page thing, my life 6 months from now. And then in vivid detail, how my life is going to look 6 months from now. So how are you using your memory to create your success? Share it with me in the comments. I would love to know. The fifth mental faculty that I want to talk to you about is imagination. Thomas Edison had the following saying carved in his desk: imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And it's true. Imagination is a miracle tool that allows us to find wonder in the mundane and to become a vessel for creative ideas to flow. Imagination creates fantasies, and a fantasy is the first stage of creation in life. When we vividly see something in our mind's eye, we imagine a thing or a place or a situation with emotional attachment, emotional intensity. Then we produce the same emotional and biochemical reactions in our body as the exact actual experience. No wonder virtual reality has become so increasingly popular, because to our subconscious mind, it doesn't matter if it's real or not, if it's true or not. So if you um, live through something as if it is happening at that moment, you are living through the moment that you are accepted in your college, or that you are getting the job that you've always wanted, or you finally landed that kick-ass client that you love working with. If you imagine that and you pull all your faculties into that, so how would that smell? How would you feel in your body? Who would be there? To whom would you be talking after that happened? What words would be used? Would you be dancing? Would you be doing your little happy move? What does it look like? Create this complete mental picture. And that is what will happen, because there is no difference between what is in our imagination or what is actually happening. And many people think that they are not creative, but we are all children of a creator, wonderfully and fearfully made in the creator's image. And the company you are working for, or the business that you are running, they originated from a fantasy, from an idea. And this creative process spans 3 stages. It stands fantasy, theory, and then fact. And it is important to remember that without the aid of your imagination, there could be no creation in your life. Someone else will always be the star in your movie if you don't create your movie yourself. And everything is created twice. You first create it in your mind with your imagination, and then it will manifest in your material world. And the biggest masterpieces and inventions were created by people who decided to dream and to believe. What society calls cliché is ancient wisdom. Ideas are the first and foremost currency, and by holding those images and those ideas in our minds, We are able to create anything that we want in this world. We just need to nurture our thoughts. Until they finally materialize in the world, we need to keep in that vibration, in that energy of the thing that we want to have in our world. The sixth one, the sixth quality or mental faculty that I want to share with you today is intuition. Are you intuitive? I'd say you are, as you can decide, you know? You are as intuitive as that you make up your mind to be. Imagination is what some may call our sixth sense, but I think this is a misnomer. It is not a sense, it is one of your higher faculties, and it can be developed to an extraordinary degree. And as a highly sensitive person, or an intuitive person, or an empath person, we already are in possession of a better developed imagination and intuition than other people. So use it. Intuition is what you prefer to say when you say something doesn't feel right. It's like a message from the infinite, a spiritual prompting, a personal revelation. And it's easy for us to dismiss our gut feelings, or even worse, to dismiss the gut feelings of our children. When the truth is that we are more powerful when we are in tune with our intuition. And we can use it. We can use it to predict outcomes, to make wise choices, and to get access to the unlimited mind of our higher self. It is with your intuition that you can pick up vibrations and then translate those vibrations in your mind. Your intuition permits you to know and know that you know what is happening around you. When you look at your results and let those results register in your mind, the results cause you to think. And that thinking then produces a feeling. And that feeling causes an action. And it is that action that produces a result, often the same result over and over again, unless you consciously decide to change it. And this is precisely why the majority of our population keeps getting the same results year after year. It's what we call struggle. Okay, Barbara, you might think, well, how do I change that? Well, you change it by immediately stopping to allow the outside world to control your mind. Objectively observe what is going on in your outside world, like bird's view, like a spectator. Don't be a part of it. Look at the results like a stranger might, and then say, I don't think that is what I want. And then just begin to think of what it is that you do want. Think thoughts that will create the idea of what you want, because those thoughts will cause the feelings, and the feelings will cause the actions, and the actions produce a new result. And at that point, you consciously observe the new result, and you mentally adapt to the new results. And you immediately begin to think the thought that created the idea of how to improve upon it. Remember that it all starts with a thought. The thought causes the feeling, and the feeling causes the action, and the action causes the result. So take a look at the results that you have been getting. Adapt to them and start a new train of thought. You stay in charge of you. Don't let the outside world control you. Don't let the outside world control what you are thinking, how you're feeling, what your actions are going to be, and what your results will be. You control the outside world. Are you using your 6 mental faculties to create freedom? To live that life that you love to live, that makes your heart sing? You can unlock your mental faculties to create the freedom that you desire in your life on your terms. By being conscious and aware of the tools that you have at your disposal and using them mostly properly, you can massively increase the odds to live that life that you love. For me, it was being an entrepreneur, working from home, traveling the world while working, and still being able to help millions. So, what's your path? What are some things that you do to exercise and develop your higher mental faculties and to encourage your kids to do the same? I'd love to know. I'd love it if you would share them with me in the comment section. We've come to the end of the episode and what I wanted to share about the 6 mental faculties. So I'm now going to see if anybody shared things with me, if they had questions. So I see that Reshma says, the uncertainty of not having money to pay your bills definitely affects your mindset to stay focused on following only your heart and your vision. Yes, that is definitely true. And it has a negative effect because you worry, because you don't have money and you worry on how to pay your bills. You enter in a low vibration. Things that are low vibration are worries and doubts and fears and anxieties. And the things we want, like money vibrates at love level. It's one of the highest vibrations ever because money is energy, money is love, love is energy, it sits high. So if you are worrying and having fears and doubts, then you drag your vibration down and you will never become a vibrational match to the thing that you really want to attract in your life. So because you worry about things you don't want, you're basically telling the universe to send you more of what you don't want. And that's definitely not what you want, but you're not aware that that is what you're doing. So by having these worries and these doubts about not being able to pay things, you attract more of it in your life. So you're stuck in this horrible vicious circle because I can hear you thinking, yeah, but how can I not worry about not paying my bills? Because if I don't pay them, I might lose, well, whatever it is that you need to pay. And, those are valid thoughts. There are valid fears, valid worries. I'm not saying that they're not valid fears or valid worries, but by realizing that being stuck in that vibration, you will never attract what it is that you want to solve this problem. So you acknowledge that, yes, shit, I don't have enough money. I might have serious problems at the end of the month. But by worrying about it, by stressing about it, I'll definitely not make a change. So then a thing to do is to create a separate, you will love this one, Reshma, a separate like accounting thing, a balance sheet, and you virtually give yourself money. And every day you start spending that money. So you start with like $1,000 and you need to spend everything every day. And every day it doubles. So the first day you have $1,000. Remember, what's real and what's in your imagination, your subconscious doesn't see a difference. So you have that virtual $1,000 and you spend it, every last dollar of it that day. And you feel the joy that it brings with what you buy for it, or the relaxedness. Oh, I have $1,000. I could pay this bill. Whew, I'm so glad that that's off my plate. Whoo! One bill down, 50 to go, or whatever it is that you're having, but you get the idea. And then the next day, you have $2,000 and you need to spend everything again. But you can also spend it on things for you. So maybe you choose to spend it on a couple of more bills, feeling the relief and excitement that the money came to pay the bills, and really imagining that it's true, that it's actually happening. Get into that vibration, get into that feeling. And the same with things that you buy for yourself. You think, oh, I've wanted this sweater for the longest time and I'm finally able to buy it. Oh, and it's so soft and it's so warm and I'm so happy with it. And get into that energy, that feeling of being happy with the thing that you bought. And it's all in your mind, but there's no difference for your subconscious mind between what you imagine and what's real. So that is how you start getting into the vibration of what it is that you want to attract. I hope that that was a good answer to your question. And you say, the candle exercise is also used in meditation. Yes, because meditation is actually focusing the mind. That is what meditation is. It's focusing the mind. It's stilling the mind. It's being in control of your mind, choosing if you want to think and what you are going to think about instead of having your thoughts rule you. Most of us, we think we have no control over what we think and that our thoughts control us. But it's actually the other way around. And we need to start exercising that, the fact that we can do that, we can control our thoughts. So yes, meditation is an excellent way of also learning to control your thoughts, learning to say, okay, right now I don't want to think. Right now is me time. I don't want to think about anything, or I just want to check in with myself and see how I'm doing, what I need. Consciously choosing to push the thoughts aside. And that's why, yeah, focusing on the candle is, it's like meditation but sometimes better for people who have a hard time with meditating, because you can actually focus on something, but the technique, the idea behind it is the same. Yeah. Is it memory of the future actually imagination? Yes, yes. But yes, it's imagination plus, because imagination is just keeping it in your mind. It's more 2D, and I want it to become 4D. I want it to come alive. Just, it's not enough to write out what I want in my future, but I also write out how it makes me feel and with whom I'm sharing it and how my body looks, and that I'm feeling confident about myself while I'm doing these presentations, or whatever it is that it's that I want to attract in my life. So it's not just imagining what my life is going to look like, but also adding all these senses to it. What do I see? I'm convinced I'm living in a house next to the ocean. So I hear the birds and I hear the crashing of the waves and I smell the salty sea air, you know? And I imagine that when I wake up in the morning, I open my balcony doors and I walk out onto our terrace and I just have this gorgeous view of the ocean, and I'm hearing these birds and I'm smelling the ocean, and I'm hearing the waves and feeling the breeze, and preferably the sun on my face. And that's why I say imagination plus. It's the entirety of all these things that is the memory of the future. And because the memory of the past also has all this information, how it felt, what it tasted like, what it did with you, all these things. So the future memory also needs to have that. And you said, can you please give an example for reason or explain again? Yes, let me see. Reason. Reason is the thing that makes us aware that we are thinking. So meditation is one of the easiest examples for it. Reason gives us the ability to think, to be consciously aware of the thoughts and ideas that come to our mind. So when we start to meditate, we consciously choose to think other things or to focus our attention on something else. And what often happens is that at some point we become aware that we stopped meditating and we started following our thoughts somewhere. And that's then what we become consciously aware of. So our reasoning gives us the ability to develop individual thoughts. So it gives us our ability to choose, oh, I just floated off with my memories before. Okay, well, thank you, memory. It was nice seeing you for a while, but I want to meditate, so I'm going to come back. And then you choose to let the memory go and to focus on your breathing again and to pick up your meditation practice. And especially when you're new to meditation, this will happen often. So it's not you, you're not doing anything wrong. This will happen so often. But it's about your reason to be able to think, that you are thinking these things, and then your will of getting yourself back to what you're doing, that will allow you to focus for longer periods of time, and for your control of your thoughts to strengthen. Was this a better example? I hope so. I am going to check on Facebook. Hi, Dipakuran. So nice that you are here. Thank you for sharing that you visited my live stream. Did you have questions? If so, then I would love it if you would share them with us. And if you are catching this in the replay, of course, and you are having questions, then you can still ask me all your questions, because I will promise to answer all of your questions, even if you are catching this in the replay. And if you want to be here live, like the wonderful ladies that have joined me here to live today, then just pay attention to the events that I'm creating in the group. I have added the Zoom URL to it, and I will promise to dedicate to have a post right before these talks with the link in it as well, so that you can be here live, because that gives you the fastest access to me, and you can ask your questions first, because there's a lag between Zoom and Facebook, so I will always come to those questions last. And if you cannot find the link, then just DM me, I will send it to you. And I've also heard that I also have a lot of Australian people in my group, and they can really never attend this meeting, because yeah, for them it will be in the middle of the night. And I love you too, but I would also not get up for me at that time at night, so I understand it. So I've been starting with getting to know, or meeting each other sessions again. We did this before, share something that people don't know about you, and something else, it's in the event. But I'm also now organizing these on a much earlier time, so that also Peter from Vietnam and Nea from I think Indonesia, if I'm wrong, Nea, I'm sorry, but somewhere in those areas as well. And also the Australian and the New Zealand people can join in and meet other people and share their things. So I'm trying the times out to see if they work, and if we can get to know everyone in it, because I've been mostly, and it's true, I've been mostly gearing towards Europe and the United States and Canada, because that is what most people are from that actively reach out to me. But a large part of my group is also from Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. And they seldom can be here live for all of these things, unless they want to suffer insomnia in the middle of the night. So this is for you. I'm trying every week on and off, early, late, so that more of you can join and we can get to know all of us. And obviously you can catch all of these sessions also in the replay. I will add them to the appropriate, they used to be called units, but they're now guides in the group. And you will find them under the workshop and video guide in the group. And yeah, Reshma says, I explained it good. Yes, awesome, thank you. And so these 6 overlap and don't work independently of each other. No, most of them, they all have to do with each other. Your imagination is what you can focus on, and then your intuition will help you follow what you have imagined, so what you have set out for yourself, and your will keeps you on actively keeping it alive in your memory, and your reason is then the thing that makes your thoughts around it, and then your thoughts produce your feelings produce your actions, and your actions produce your results. So they're all interwoven, and you need all of them, and you need them to work well together to create the results in your life. So that's why I wanted to do this episode today, because for me, this was an incredibly valuable lesson when we learned it with Bob. And I hope that it was also incredibly valuable to everybody that was here live and that's catching it in the replay. And yeah, next week's session, I'm going to talk about the secret to unshakable confidence. So that's going to be a blast as well. And I thank you for being here live if you were here live. I thank you for catching this in the replay. Let me know that you caught it in the replay, because then I know you were here. And I hope to catch you in the future live in the next episode. Thanks for now, and have an incredible morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on your time zone. See you all next week.